Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Trinity and today I'm going to be telling you guys a story. And before I tell this story, because I know y'all are going to look at the title, even though I'm going to title this title, but I do know that it's going to be straightforward. I'm only saying this because I did watch Aaliyah Jae's story time about her getting assaulted by a kid, and I already know that the trolls are going to be coming in really hard about, oh my gosh, it's the same story, oh my gosh, the title is the exact same, who cares, it's not the same story. I watched her video and this is not the same story, so I'm gonna say that at the beginning of this video, that way everyone can be on board here, because apparently if you use the same title, it's the exact same story. Apparently everybody can't go through the same type of things. I'm sorry, I just had to get that off my chest because it can get really ridiculous in the comments, and I just have to take a moment to think and just understand, you know what, people are going to always have something to say, and it just gets really ridiculous in the comments sometimes. But then again, this is YouTube. I pretty much signed up for this, so it's cool, but I am going to definitely make sure to put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video. For the story, this was over the summer. This was at a cookout, and me and Caleb were invited. We just knew a few people, but ultimately we were just getting an outside invite to this cookout. I remember just standing, talking, having a good old conversation, just chilling, and there are kids, clearly, duh, I mean, come on. There are kids running around, all different types of ages. Now, specifically, it was this little boy. Now, as far as the age, because I know you all want to know the age, and I know some of you are just gonna go crazy in the comments, but if I'm being honest, okay, I don't remember what age he was, but I know for a fact he wasn't an older type of kid. You know what I'm saying? He was younger. He was definitely shorter than me, and I'm 4'11", so he was shorter to me, kind of came to like my belly button. No older than 9 years old. No older than 9 years old. He was young. He was too young to be doing what he was doing, but I will make sure to put in a good old edit right here when I find out, because I have to ask Caleb because he was there, so Caleb may know. And you know what? The age ain't even important. The point is, he was a kid, he was a child, and he should have been doing what I'm about to tell you he did. Point blank, period. So on to the story. I am standing and I'm talking casually, and this boy started staring at me. Like, while I was talking and they were talking, I was just standing in a circle casually, and I just see these two little eyes staring at me. This kid is staring, and I'm just like, you know, whatever. Kids stare. Every kid stares. It's not a crime. It's not a big deal. He's just staring at me, I guess. He was staring at me, but at the same time, it was like he was kind of blushing, or he was shy, but he was still staring at me. And I was just like, oh, you know, he probably thinks I'm pretty, you know, whatever, little boys. And I mean, I do look pretty young. You guys, I'm 24 years old. Go ahead and look into the poll section and let me know how old you thought I really was. Like, go ahead. It's okay. I understand. It's okay. The little boy is just continuing to stare, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. And he runs off and he plays, and I'm just like, okay, on to my business. Continuing to talk, minding my own business, doing whatever I was doing. And all of a sudden, I get a little touch on my arm. It wasn't like a, you know, touch. It was kind of like a, you know, touch. I didn't know how to react. I was just like, oh, maybe he was just trying to get my attention, because after he touched me, I turned and then I saw him, and I'm just like, oh, hey, you know, I'm thinking he just wants to be friendly. I mean, I have had kids come up to me all the time, just, hey, maybe they just want a piece of candy. I don't know. I've had kids come up to me just to take my candy. But what made it awkward was when I'm just looking down at him and I'm just like, oh, hey, he just stares at me. Like, he just stares and he doesn't say anything. I know how kids can be. They just freeze up sometimes. They don't say anything. They just, I don't know, they just do whatever. So the first thing I thought was, okay, he's just being a kid. A kid is just being a kid. I didn't freak out or immediately think of bad negative things that was happening, because first of all, I'm not that type of person. I don't just jump to something negative or something hateful or something that was negative intent. I at least give everything the benefit of the doubt. I got a feeling that you guys are gonna kill me for my camera going in and out of focus. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm gonna get it together, I promise. I think it's because I'm moving a lot in the video that it keeps on going in and out. So, sorry. Well, anyways, I didn't think anything of it. Plus, he ran off. So it was just like, okay, all right, he's about to go play with his friends again. So I continued to just walk around at the cookout, talk, whatever. I think at one point I was playing cards, but that was definitely later on. And I get a touch on my legs. Now this wasn't a touch, okay? It wasn't a touch. This was definitely a slide, like I felt two hands on my thighs and it was sliding down my leg. I felt so uncomfortable, and of course I'm just like, what is this little boy doing? Like, you touched me on the arm, you know, gave you a pass, like, you know, went ahead and just assumed that you weren't doing anything, and then you come back over to me and you're touching me again. At this point, I'm trying to like figure out, okay, it may be time to say something about this, because I'm gonna possibly be at this cookout for a few more hours, and I'm not trying to keep on having this happen to me over and over again. After the little boy touched me, I did of course look back, and I'm just like, hey, you know, what are you doing? What do you want? Is there something that you want? I'm asking this kid at this point, hey, is there anything that you want? Anything you need? Hey, like, say something. And this little boy just stares. He just stares at me, and then he just runs off, and I'm like, all right, it's time to say something. So I tell Caleb and I let him know, hey, there's a little boy running around here and he's touching me. Caleb's face was priceless. Caleb's face was so priceless because he just didn't want to believe it. Like, when you hear that, it's just kind of like, what? And I was like, yeah, there's a little boy touching me, and I had to, you know, point him out. He was running around, I had to point him out, just so Caleb can identify him and understand what I was going through. And I reached out to Caleb because, number one, he's my boyfriend, so I mean, and I didn't know what to do. I was just like, man, I don't even know who his mom is. I don't even know who I'm supposed to go to about this. I don't know. Caleb knew more people there than I knew, so that's why I went to Caleb, because I was just like, maybe he can figure this out and we can find who to go to about this. So I told Caleb, and Caleb was just like, you know what, if he does it again, just let me know, like, pretty much get my attention as soon as it happens again. And he also said that he would just watch out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be watching out for this little boy too. You know me, I'm like, I'm looking for this kid, because I'm just like, you know what, it won't be a third time. Like, you're not gonna get me a third time. I'm like, if you touch my arm, you touch my thigh, what you gonna touch next? Like, what is coming next? Like, I was just like, no, I'm not even gonna allow it to get to the because at that point it would have been a problem. Like, it would have been a huge problem. And I was just like, you know what, let me pretty much help this little boy out while I can and make sure he doesn't even get to that. Wow. Now keep in mind that I'm at a cookout. I'm not just standing there looking for the little boy. I did eat, dang, I did eat. And this didn't happen back to back to back. This happened like, I don't know, 15 minutes in between. The first time he did it to the second time, it was like 15 minutes. Now I did get Caleb to bring me a chair over to sit down in. That way I can just be more comfortable just being just out there. I was also drinking too. Like, I was drinking some alcohol, and you know, we were just having fun, and I totally forgot about this little boy. And out of nowhere, I hear this girl yell out, "Don't be messing with her." I turn around and this little boy is behind me again. First of all, it scared me. It did scare me, it really did. Because I was drinking and I was already turned, and the sun was going down. The sun was going down too. It scared the crap out of me, and I was just like, me and Caleb looked at each other, we were just like, bruh. I don't know who she was. She wasn't the mom, so she wasn't related to him, but I guess overall she was the one that was supposed to be watching him. Now the little boy did get in trouble. I don't know what happened, but she took care of him, and then she came back. Now before she came back, I was telling Caleb, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill her in on all that happened, and you know, just let her know, because at this point she obviously has some type of authority over this little boy. So when she came back, I went ahead and filled her in. I was just like, you know, he touched me on the arm and then he touched me on the leg and the thigh, you know, just in case she needs to know to go tell the mom or something. She was just like, he just thinks you're pretty, you know, he's just very flirtatious. And I'm just like, okay. That's all fine and everything, but you know, it's not good for little boys to be running around touching women like that. You know, I understand that kids can be kids, but me personally, I would have a problem if my son was doing that. And I did let her know that just because she wasn't the mom, and she wasn't related to him. I don't know, was she like a babysitter or something? I don't know. So I did let her know that, and hopefully she took that and told the mom or something, because she kind of just brushed it off. I mean, she probably thought that I was like wanting to call the authorities, like call the police or put in a complaint or something, but it wasn't even that deep. Like it was just simple, like, hey, you know, I don't think that's good. I told her that I didn't feel comfortable because number one, I didn't, and number two, she kind of just laughed it off with the, oh, well, you know, he flirts with girls, you know, he flirts. And I'm just like, you know, you kind of just brushing it off like it's nothing to really take seriously, but I kind of feel like you should. But I mean, you know how people can be. Like, people will always think that they're exactly in your shoes or that you're just over exaggerating or whatever it may be. People always got something to say when they weren't even there. Like, I know a few people in the comments gonna be like,
he ain't touch you like that. Oh, he was just trying to rub your skin. Oh, well, all kids do that.
There's always going to be somebody in the comments that want to try to make it seem as if this wasn't a big deal. But for me, it was, because I was uncomfortable. So if you weren't touched, then I don't get why you talking. But you know what? I ain't worried about y'all. I ain't worried about y'all. Make sure to look into the poll section. I'm going to, of course, want to know if this has happened to you guys, something similar. And you know what? I like doing polls to get everybody else to understand that I'm not the only one that goes through experiences. Some people in the comments just swear.
Who does this happen to? This doesn't happen to everyone. I've never had this happen to me.
Just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So you're not going to necessarily understand where I'm coming from if it hasn't happened to you. So I leave the polls up just so you guys can be more open-minded about it just not being me. I was seriously thinking about doing a response to the comments in my second and fourth grade story time, because I'm starting to see the comments and it's just kind of like, why do y'all think this doesn't happen? Like, why are people so like naive to think that things don't happen, crazy things don't happen to people? But yeah, but this ends the story. Just in case you forgot the ending of the story, because I talked too much after I ended the story. The ending was pretty simple. I just talked to the lady and she kind of still, I feel like she still kind of blew me off a little bit, like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then that was it. I eventually left the cookout and I went on with my life. I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. Make sure to go ahead and like, give me a thumbs up, and I will of course do another story for you guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to become an official member of the J team. And yes, I have decided to stick with the J team. I will definitely be talking to you guys very soon, and I love you all. Bye.
Night, wow, wow, she got a she got a she got a she got a